65 toss power trap. That might pop wide open, Rats.
Kansas City Chiefs absolutely phenomenal.
Welcome in, folks, to another great episode of the TBT podcast. Today, it's a midweek episode. We're going to be breaking down what happened in week 1 and what's going to happen in week 2. This is the TBT podcast. Buddy, to another episode of the TBT podcast, the TBT podcast, the TBT podcast. So, folks, as we know, the Kansas City Chiefs get it done in Kansas City, opening week versus the Ravens. Actually, a phenomenal game versus the Ravens. When they mean the game of inches, it was a game of inches. The first thing I kind of want to break down in this game is the way our offense was. And it felt good. It felt good that we finally have receivers, and there was some drops, but we finally have receivers that can just catch the ball. And I know Juju had a drop and some other players had a drop, and that's week 1. I think that's just knocking off some rust, to be honest with you guys. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this Kansas City Chiefs offense is going to be once they start getting used to each other, once it starts actually flowing and people are knocking off the rust. I thought Kelsey was knocking off the rust, but it's just good to see that the Chiefs have for real weapons. I mean, we got to remember, for the first part of the season, Kadarius Toney was our number 1. Rashid Rice is still getting used to things. Kadarius Toney was our number 1. Now that you have Rice, Brown will be coming back here soon. Worthy looked good. And then you had the other guys look good. I even thought Juju, he almost had a touchdown there, but he dropped the ball. But our receivers looked good. And that's what made me so confident. There was some drops, like I said, but the confidence I left with the game where I'm like, okay, this Kansas City Chiefs offense can go back to normal. This Kansas City Chiefs offense can score in the 30s consistently. This Kansas City Chiefs offense is going to score 25, 26, 27 points a game. Maybe even 30 points a game, because of the receivers are competent now. They can go out, they can throw the ball, and we're not going to worry, oh my God, is Sky Moore going to catch the ball? No, Sky Moore is not going to really be getting snaps because they have Brown, they have Rice, they have Worthy, and they're going to be relying on those guys, and especially Rice. I mean, Rice in the slot this past game, absolutely phenomenal. Looking at the stats here, 7 receptions for 103 yards. I think he's going to be the real deal. I think he's going to be a 1,000-yard receiver. I don't see a suspension coming. I think it's going to be next year, just because those things kind of take time in the NFL. So I think a suspension is going to come next year. But Rice, absolutely phenomenal game. Worthy. Let's talk about the rookie Worthy. This is his type of game I think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be necessarily a 100-yard guy. Some people are like, oh, he's the next Tyreek Hill, which we're going to get into Tyreek Hill. I don't think he is. I don't think he is the next Tyreek Hill. But I do think he's going to be the guy where he's catching jet sweeps, where he's going to have 40 yards. He's going to have the long bombs. He's going to have like 2 to 3 receptions a game, which he had 2 receptions for 47 yards and a touchdown. And then he had a rushing touchdown. That's what I think his game is going to be. I said this earlier in the podcast. I think he's going to be a guy that maybe has 1 or 2 big plays a game. And that's what he's going to be. He's going to be a field stretcher. And he's going to have a couple of jet sweeps. He's going to have a couple runs. And he's a skinnier guy. But I thought he was able to take hits. I thought he was able to get off the line. But he had that huge big play from Mahomes up the right side. And I think that's what he's going to be. I think he's going to fill that role well. Noah Gray, I thought he was great on third down. I thought he was great for the tight end room. Kelsey looked a little rusty. Some people are like, oh, he looks slow and old. I don't think that's it. I think he's rusty. Again, you got to remember, he only played 2 drives all of preseason. I think he's got to be ready to go to play in a physical matchup with the Ravens. That's tough to do. So I thought those guys played well. The running backs, Pacheco, not necessarily steal. He was able to get in the game, but not necessarily steal. But Pacheco, I thought Pacheco was great. 15 carries for 45 yards. I know his yards per carry weren't that great, 3 yards a carry. But I thought he was good. I thought he was big at crucial times, getting it third and short. So the Kansas City Chiefs were able to set up drives. Patrick Mahomes, I thought he played well. Some people were like, Patrick Mahomes didn't play very well. 20 of 28, 291 yards, a touchdown and an interception. It wasn't Patrick Mahomes with the 3 touchdowns on 300 yards, but I still thought he played absolutely phenomenal versus this Ravens team. They were able to get it done 27-20. The defense, I thought, played well. A lot of people are like, defense didn't play well. They were able to held their opponent under 21 points. They only had 2 touchdowns and a couple field goals. So they're able to hold their opponent under 21 points. I thought they played well. Lamar Jackson's going to run. Some people are like, Lamar Jackson's running everywhere. Lamar Jackson's going to be able to run. He had 122 yards. The running back, we held Derrick Henry under 50 yards. He had 13 carries for 46 yards and 3.5 yards a carry. So I thought they played well. The corners, I didn't think we were tackling well in open space, even when receivers or running backs were free. I didn't think we tackled well. I thought we covered well. Likely was the only one that really went off. He had 9 receptions for 111 yards and a touchdown. And that was mostly on that big play he had. You take that away, and they really are holding the Ravens down, the receivers down. Bateman had 2 receptions for 50 yards. Again, he had that one big play. Zay Flowers didn't do much, 6 receptions for 37 yards. I thought our pass coverage was okay. That's something we're going to have to look forward to in the Bengals, which we're going to talk about. But I thought our defense played pretty well. Chris Jones, I feel like he was right there getting to Lamar Jackson, but it's Lamar Jackson. This upcoming game versus the Bengals, which I want to get into now, the Chiefs will host the Cincinnati Bengals at 3:30 Eastern time. This is another matchup between Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. Joe Burrow does lead the series 3-1. A lot of people, Bengals fans will say 3-1, 3-1, 3-1. This is an opportunity where I can see the Kansas City Chiefs going out and putting up on the Bengals. I know they always struggle versus the Bengals, but this is not the same Bengals team, guys. Who knows what T. Higgins plays? Jamar Chase did not look like Jamar Chase. So I don't know if this is going to be the same Bengals team. What they have to do is they're going to get pressure on Joe Burrow. Let's remember, they were on Lamar Jackson. Early. But again, he's Lamar Jackson. He's going to squirm out of it. Joe Burrow does not have legs like Lamar Jackson. So I'm confident that this Kansas City Chiefs D-line is going to be able to get after Joe Burrow. He's going to want to dink and dunk. That's Joe Burrow's game. He wants to get the ball quick. He wants to throw underneath. So I think that's where Leo Chanel and those guys have to be able to tackle, keep these guys in third and long, and they'll be in trouble because Joe Burrow has to get the ball quick. He's not a really immobile guy, and he does not look like Joe Burrow right now. Let's be honest. Joe Burrow does not look like Joe Burrow right now. So I think the Kansas City Chiefs' main goal versus the Cincinnati Bengals is going to be pressure. I'm very confident going into this game. I have been years prior versus Cincinnati Bengals. And the Kansas City Chiefs, they still just have this vendetta versus Cincinnati Bengals from the 2021 AFC Championship game. They still hate the Bengals, and the Bengals still hate us, of course, because we beat them to go win a Super Bowl. Let's be clear about that. We beat them to go win a Super Bowl. So what the Kansas City Chiefs need to do this game is wrap up. Don't let them get in this 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 situations, because that's when they strive best, because they want to get the ball quick. They want to throw underneath. Every now and then they want to throw to Jamar Chase. but I like my chances. Trent McDuffie versus Jamar Chase. I really do. I thought Jamar Chase did a great job versus Flowers. So I am very intrigued to see the Jamar Chase versus Trent McDuffie. We'll see if T. Higgins is out there and who will be guarding T. Higgins. I think Leo Chanel will be ready. I'm not too worried about the running backs, Moss, some of the other guys, Evans. I'm not too worried about that. I think Nick Bolton did not have a great game, but I think he'll step up and be ready to go. And I like our linebacking crew versus the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think Patrick Mahomes is going to have his way versus this defense. They have a decent D-line. They really do. They have a decent D-line. They have a good front seven. But their secondary, I know they got Stone back there. And they got some other guys back there. But just the corners alone, I think Rice is going to have a good game. We'll see if Hollywood Brown is going to be there. We're going to have more about the Cincinnati Bengals later in the week for you guys. But those are some of my early keys versus Cincinnati Bengals. One thing I really wanted to get to is around the league is some of the teams I saw and some of the teams I thought played well. There was the Houston Texans were in a shootout with the Colts. I thought the Colts played really well in this. The Houston Texans, I think, are going to be a team to watch out for. The Browns, I know, is high on the Browns. Deshaun Watson looked terrible. Let's be very clear. Deshaun Watson looked very, very bad. So I don't know if Deshaun Watson is going to be able to get back to that level of play he was. And I thought the Browns would be that type of team. The Steelers were a team where a lot of people I doubted. They did get a win, but their defense is going to have to carry them. They're still a team I don't know if they make the playoffs, but their defense is going to have to carry them. TJ Watt alone is going to have to carry them. Atlanta, Kirk Cousins, I know they had a bad game. I think they're a team that will bounce back and be okay. They may start up slow, but I still think they're a team that's going to win 10 games and win their division. The Eagles look good, as I thought. The Eagles look good. They got a game coming up versus Atlanta, which I think will be a good game. So I thought they looked good. You had the Broncos. I did not think they looked good in our division at all. I didn't think Bo Nix looked good. I don't think he'll look good. Some people may say, "Oh, that was his first game." I don't think he'll look good. I'm not high on the Denver Broncos. Chargers get a win. Obviously, I think they're going to be the biggest competition in the AFC West. But let me know what you guys think around the league. You have the Jets. The Jets played. I think Aaron Rodgers was a little bit rusty, started slow. He didn't play the whole preseason. Miami Dolphins versus Jags. Those are two teams that I think are going to contend in their division. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, I really do think they're going to contend in their division. Miami wins the last second when you have the Tyreek Hill debacle, which I thought was disgusting. The Miami-Dade police, just terrible look. Terrible look for the Miami police. I think a lot of those police officers do need to be fired. What happened with Tyreek Hill? Had him on the ground, pulled him out of their car. One of the police officers, absolutely disgusting. A lot of those police officers do need to be fired. But Tyreek Hill, able to come out, get it done versus Jacksonville Jaguars. Miami Dolphins, they're a team, if they can just get their stuff right late season and stay healthy, they're a team that can be a contender, but they have to be able to do that. Let me know what you guys think about some of the other teams in the league and what you guys think the top 5 teams in the league are heading into week 2. We'll be more about the Cincinnati Bengals and what the Chiefs need to do versus Cincinnati Bengals late in the league with Zach. I will see you guys next time on the TPT podcast.